Hello friends, I'm George, the nice smelling gentleman. Welcome back to the channel guys, I hope that all of you are doing well. Reyhaan fragrances, 4 of them. Imperia Intense, Ocean Rush and Corium. Let's try them. Now, I have a pretty good idea what to expect from one of all those 4 fragrances. The other 3 are sort of a slight mystery to me. So let's start with the most obvious one and probably the most famous fragrance from this brand at the moment. That's called Imperia. This one is supposedly inspired by Creed Aventus. So let's check it out first. The packaging of all 4 Reyhaan fragrances that I'm going to check out in today's video for the first time looks pretty simplistic, very sort of an old school stylish packaging. On the front here, if you're interested, it's part of the Imperia collection. It's an EDP concentration. Bottle size is 100 milliliters. Let's check out the bottle itself. Again, another simplistic style here. The production date, if anyone is interested, is April of 2024. So let's take a paper strip and let's check out the smell of Imperia per ohm. As I said, supposedly similar to Creed Aventus. The sprayer is actually good. Yep, definitely already in the air I can smell the scent of the fragrance. And it is Creed Aventus inspired fragrance, definitely. Opens up quite fresh, definitely an apple note, a bergamot note in here, maybe a hint of minty note as well. Feels a little bit fresher than most other Creed Aventus clones, in a way similar to something like a Club Genuine Intense Man, especially the EDT, but definitely feels a little bit less abrasive than the EDT version of Club Genuine Intense Man. There's some floral notes in the background, a bit of a mossy vibe out of it. Also feels quite sweet. The amber sweetness is definitely here. And all around, in the air, actually smells very similar to Creed Aventus, but again not a straight up clone, maybe like a slight twist. At least in the opening this feels a little bit fresher and maybe slightly sweeter compared to Creed Aventus itself. But definitely, carrying very strong Aventus vibes. Now, I'll give it a little bit of time to settle down and I'll come back to check the early dry down of Imperia per ohm. Okay, we're done with the most obvious one, the one that I knew how it supposedly is smelling. Let's keep it going with the first of sort of the mystery fragrances for me. That again is part from the same Imperia line and it's called Imperia Intense. Again, a very simplistic packaging, slightly different color combination here. Again, EDP concentration, 100 milliliter bottle size. The production date here is again April of 2024. I guess that the bottle design is almost identical to the first one as well. And yes, it is slightly different, sort of on color accents, but other than that, very similar to the original Imperia, both box and bottle designs. Let's check out the sprayer here. Again, good sprayer, decent distribution. Okay. Alright, that's an interesting fragrance. Opens up quite green, there's a hint of pepperness in here. Also feels kind of citrusy, like a mandarin note or like a orange note, something like that. But feels also quite sweet. There's quite a bit of vanillic sweetness in the opening of this fragrance. Maybe a bit of lavender as well, which gives it a sort of an aromatic properties. Feels a bit musky as well. Green, aromatic, slightly citrusy with lots of vanillic sweetness and a hint of musk in the opening. I'm interested to see how this one will change in the early dry down. So again, I'll give it like 30-40 minutes to settle down and I'll come back to check out the dry down of Imperia Intense. The next one in line will be Reyhaan's Ocean Rush. Again, I don't know exactly what to expect from this fragrance, but judging by the name, this should be something fresh, maybe something aquatic, so let's see. Again, exactly the same box design, but this time in bluish colors with some sort of white or silver accents. Again, EDP concentration, 100 milliliter bottle size, and the production date here is March of 2024. My guess is that the bottle design is pretty much identical to the first two that I tried, and yes it is, but this comes in a lovely light blue color with a sort of a white cap. Let's take a paper strip, let's check this one. Good sprayer, again, nice, considering how cheap all fragrances are in today's mini fragrance haul. Okay, this smells nice. So, definite Acqua di Gio vibes out of this fragrance, but like quite a bit sweeter compared to Acqua di Gio, but definitely it's like having the Acqua di Gio DNA and building a sweeter scent profile on top of it, just smelling it in the air. A bergamot, a mandarin note in here, definitely aquatic notes, slightly salty, feels a little bit green as well, quite aromatic, probably a lavender note in here, but also smells quite sweet, quite a lot of ambery sweetness in this fragrance. But definitely smells actually really pleasant. It's like a slightly bubblegummy take on the Acqua di Gio DNA. Now the original fragrance is a classic fragrance, it's a super masculine, super versatile and very likable scent, but at this point in time I think it's already starting to age a little bit, show its age, and probably like a sweeter, more modern take on Acqua di Gio, the Acqua di Gio DNA is not a bad thing at all. This actually smells really pleasant, and I can definitely say that this will be a crowd pleaser type of scent. Definitely a summertime fragrance, a warm type of scent, warm weather type of scent. Okay, again, I'll give it some time to settle down and I'll come back to check out the early dry down of Ocean Rush. And now let's check out the last one, the last Reyhaan featured in today's mini fragrance haul, which is called Corium. Now, I think this is supposedly having a strong leather note, a fragrance with a strong leather note, so let's see if that's true. The box design here is slightly different, the shape is pretty much the same, but it's a slightly larger box and also has a bit of a texture to it. The things here are again 100 milliliter bottle size, EDP concentration, and this is part of the leather collection supposedly. Production date, if anyone is interested, is May of 2024. Let's check out the bottle itself. And yeah, similar bottle design, but this one actually having a sort of a leathery outer sleeve. Looks kind of nice and feels nice in hand. A leather always feels nice in hand. Let's check out the sprayer here and let's see how this smells. Okay, another good sprayer. All right. Nice. Really nice actually. A hint of the perfumer's alcohol in the first few seconds, but that's normal. Okay, so this is a very leathery fragrance, but it's also quite a sweet fragrance. And this is stronger with your leather, basically. That's what I'm smelling, that's what I'm picking up out of this fragrance. Although this feels a little bit sweeter even than the stronger with your leather. A bit of like a hint of greenness, a hint of a lavender note that just brings a bit of aromatic properties to the fragrance. Definitely something like an agar oud note in here, quite a lot of vanillic and ambery sweetness. Feels very oudi and very leathery, but again like a sweeter take on the stronger with your leather scent profile. Actually, I like this one quite a lot as well. I like stronger with your leather a lot. There's a clone from the brand of Artal Zafran, which I think was called 24 hours Majestic Gold, 24 hours Oud Majestic Gold, which is also a super nice clone of stronger witch leather. And the Reyhaan Corium is up there. This feels even sweeter than the Atal Zafran clone and the original fragrance, and I absolutely love it. I'm interested to see how this will settle down in about 30 to 40 minutes. Okay, so I've given all 4 fragrances about 40 minutes so they can settle down a little bit and go into their early dry down phase. And I'm going to quickly go over them in the same order, starting with Imperia Per Homme. This of course is again cloning Creed Aventus, and on the dry down it's still Creed Aventus basically. But it feels like a slightly more ambery take on the Creed Aventus DNA, just a slight hint of more sweetness compared to the original fragrance. Other than that, there's still a bit of a citrusy undertone, you know, at this point of the life of the fragrance, still a bit of lemony undertone in it. On the dry down, on the early dry down, it becomes mossy, it becomes birchy, a bit woody, but yeah, definitely feels like a good Creed Aventus clone. I'll put it on par with something like Club de Nuit Intense EDT, although this feels a little bit better blended, less harsh, and like a slightly more sweeter take, not as citrusy as lemony take of like the Armagh fragrance, but definitely a nice inexpensive clone of Creed Aventus. The next one, Ocean Rush, and this is a really interesting fragrance. Definitely a cloning Acqua di Gio, but like a sweeter bubblegummy take on the Acqua di Gio, you know, scent, like a more modern, sweeter take on that scent itself, the smell of Acqua di Gio. On the dry down, this remains quite a bit sweeter compared to the original fragrance, but again, like Imperia Intense, just starting to lose a little bit of that sweet punch from the opening. Feels a bit lemony somewhere in the background as well, but definitely carries strong Acqua di Gio vibes, but also quite a bit of sweet vibes. And again, as I said, immediately after trying this fragrance, this will probably end up being a crowd-pleasing type of scent, because it really smells nice and people like this type of scents, you know. And moving on to the last one, the Corium one. Again, on the dry down, this remains a stronger witch leather clone, but still quite a bit sweeter. Again, more like a bubblegummy type of sweetness with this fragrance, but definitely feels really nice. Again, as I said, I'm a huge fan of the original fragrance, and I really like what Reyhaan have done with Corium and that DNA. Now, all that is left with the 4 fragrances is to test how they perform, because that's obviously a very important thing for me and for probably most of you guys who are watching this video. And at some point in the near future, I'll probably do a full review of each and every one fragrance. But if I have to point out 2 fragrances that actually stand out a little bit and that are most impressive, at least from my first impressions, those will be Ocean Rush and Corium. And so guys, in today's video I tried 4 fragrances from the brand of Reyhaan: Imperia, Imperia Intense, Ocean Rush and Corium. I hope that you found this video interesting. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me in the next one. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.